Welcome to the latest episode of this week's Acca. Joe and Jimmy here. I know we're looking a little bit different. The other two have been booted out to try and get us off this heck of a losing streak. And we're doing our best to get off it, but I'll be honest, it's a pretty shocking slate this week. And we've built a 15, 16 to 1 fourfold that we do think has got a pretty good chance of winning. So like and subscribe on YouTube and our social channels. Please keep them coming in. The comments as well, some good, some bad. But like the good ones we like as well. And most importantly, this is a podcast for 18s and over. Please gamble responsibly and never bet more than you can afford. I'm back, baby, and we kicked the other two out. What's been going on the last couple of weeks? How have you lads been doing? I paid zero attention when I'm not actually on the podcast. I'm lying there, by the way, but I paid little attention.
I think you know full well how it's been going. I can't remember the last time you were on, but Pearlwig on the YouTube comments is a regular in there. He's reminded us that it's now 22 without a winner. So when this weekend starts, the 24th, it'll be 88 days, 2,112 hours. Do you know what you could have done in that time?
Oh, God.
You could have watched the Neil Warnock documentary 2,700 times.
Obsessed, mate, with Neil Warnock, aren't you?
Who isn't?
Absolutely obsessed.
Who isn't? He's the GOAT. But Pearlwig isn't the only one getting a bit angry with the poor form. Sean Scott Dennis has been in touch on YouTube and he's put, "It's an outrage. Call yourself experts." We don't. Next time, try the pin, a blindfold, and a steady hand. Not a bad shout.
That's what we're going to be doing today, I think, isn't it? But the pearl of the week, and really, please do keep your comments coming in. Chris Hurst, wow, you guys really do need to find a new job. And then cheers for the follow, Chris. As well. Chris Hurst followed you a couple of minutes after that.
Oh, he followed straight after the comment.
Straight after the comment. So I'm not sure whether he was taking the piss or being honest. But last week I've been fuming about this. I don't know, which is ironic because I might actually be bringing this team up later on in the podcast. But new manager syndrome. Talked about this at length. Charlton got a 3-3 draw at Bolton. Actually, went pretty close to winning. And you put them in the pod. No, you don't put them in the Acca.
Who?
Who did it?
Who you on about? Charlton?
Who suggested them? Who did that? I'm just looking at the last week. Arsenal, coasted in.
Yep.
Leicester, I know that you were the one saying you didn't really want.
Didn't really want. I was dead set against them.
Well played on that.
And Jake tried getting Tottenham in.
But, oh my God, I can't be having that.
Charlton.
On one last week.
That is interesting because I look forward to who you're going to bring to the table.
We're a week further on. I see that new manager lasts for three games. Fourth game, then they're well set. Anyway, on to this week. And please do like and subscribe on all our channels. YouTube, podcast. We need those reviews. Good or bad, preferably good. 5-star only.
How can you ask for 5 stars?
Oh, I know, yeah. And we are going to turn it around today. Jake and Tom haven't been dispensed with, I promise. They will be back soon. And if you're watching on YouTube, you see I've just been on holiday. Yeah, nice little orange tan here. And if you're looking at my laptop, I'm not celebrating Christmas, but one of my kids has just tried to take over my laptop. I got most of the Santa stickers off, but one still remains on there. First up, Jimmy, it feels like you've been part of this losing streak even more than I have. So you need to bring the first selection to the table to get us underway. What I do want to say is you cannot have Sunderland in because they have another new manager, and their ex-manager we do know has been proliferating propaganda of his own to try to keep his own job, which it would take us too long to talk about that. Just search Micky Beale.
Talking about Micky Beale's burner?
On X. Please do, if you don't know about this story. It's just too good to be true, but it's true.
First of all, then, how dare you? Coming back here, calling the shots, picking apart Acca's after they've played. If you had out about you, you'd say, at the time, after it's recorded, you see the team, just say, nope, yes, whatever. But a week later, after the result.
I did do that as well, didn't I? I've been trolling you on YouTube about the Blackpool selection the week before, so...
I don't remember.
Really turned into a bad guy this last few weeks, and the power's gone to my head being in the main seat, but just... Let's get on with it now.
Terrible bloke. Well, I see no reason why we shouldn't start in the Premier League. We've been blessed with another hatful of 3 p.m. kickoffs. To be honest, though, there's not a lot catching my eye in the 1x2, but I feel like Villa v Forest needs a mention. You've got a short home team in a bit of a wobble against Forest, who have been... Well, it's been some resurgence since Nuno came in. So have you got any strong opinions on this one? Because I have not.
So you're thinking Forest?
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. You're thinking about putting Forest in it.
At 5-1, I wouldn't want them in an Acca, but I wouldn't want to be backing against them. No way, Jose.
I'm the complete opposite, mate. I've got Villa down as I think Villa should be in the Acca.
Why?
So Villa are 8-15 generally. One of the best home teams in Europe, not even just in the Premier League. And I just wouldn't read too much into the fact that they got beaten by Man United. A week or so ago, where they played really well. Man United managed to just scab a win late on. And that resurgence that you talk about with Nottingham Forest, that is long since gone. They won those couple of games under Nuno.
No, it hasn't.
And then they've won one game since. Maybe not even one game.
What? Since what?
Since they won... So they lost their opening game. Man sent off, yeah, fine. And then they won at Newcastle and beat Man United. And then since then... You're pulling up the results. You think that it's a resurgence, but it hasn't been. It's all fallen away since they lost Morgan Gibbs-White.
Morgan Gibbs-White's back. He's played the last 2 games.
Oh, and how have they got on?
Well, they beat West Ham narrowly and late. Lost to... Well, it wasn't that late, but they lost to Newcastle.
Oh, I read a great piece on Sporting Life a few weeks ago, actually, about West Ham and how bad they are. So all of a sudden... I wouldn't be reading too much into a team beating West Ham, who are in crisis at the moment. No kind of stability because they didn't give David Moyes a new contract when they were doing well. So one win at home against a team that have fallen to pieces and have signed the most unmatched fit player in Premier League history that's just trying to throw games away for them.
Who?
Calvin Phillips, who I'm a big fan of, actually. I feel sorry for him at the moment.
What are you slagging him for?
But I'd be having Villa in there all day, mate.
Well... Let's just pick apart what you said, because I've called it a resurgence under Nuno, and I think it absolutely is. You just washed over the 2 wins against Newcastle at St James's and Manchester United, one of the traditional Big Six. Let's not forget. They've also drawn on the South Coast against Bournemouth, who are pushing top half, and beat West Ham. You look at those points, it is 7 from 8. Bear in mind, the previous, I think they won one of their previous 8, lost 6. So he's inherited a squad slipping down the division and turned it like that. He's literally turned their fortunes like that. And this running has not been an easy running. And the thing that impresses me the most about Forest and Nuno, don't roll your eyes, is just the little tactical nuances, the tactical tweaks he makes game by game. Newcastle away, it was exposing Dan Burn with Elanga. Man United at home, it was overloading.
That was the 26th and the 30th of December.
Oh my God, I'm getting to it. Man United at home, there was another one where he overloaded the central areas because Man United didn't play with a CDM at the time. And I know that he's going to go to Villa Park with a plan. The last thing I want to say is, look at Villa's form. They're drawn with Everton, lost to Newcastle, they thrashed United, but what do you want? Well done for that. Everyone can do that. Lost to Chelsea in the Cup, lost to Man U, marginally beat Fulham. Do you know what that stinks of to me? Teams giving them the respect they deserve. Because in the first half of the season, reminds me a bit of Stevenage in League One. They got a new style. Nobody in the league could cope with it in the first half of the campaign. I think there were 3 points off the top of the league in November. Second half of the season, when they're playing everyone again, they've all caught onto it. So they've fallen away. And I think this is what we're seeing from Aston Villa. They didn't get the respect.
We need to just move on from this then, because this is going to be problematic with 2 of us, because if we're not going to agree on something, we're going to be here all bloody day.
Yeah.
I didn't expect you to be pieing that off so quickly. I've got to be honest with you. So if you're going to reject that, let's not worry about the league. Let's just get something locked in. You're going to have to bring your strongest fancy to the table, and let's try and do it.
Well, we'll stick in the Premier League, yeah, because we've got a few to go at.
Please, God. If you know, it needs to be something that you think that I'm going to sign off on, because I'm already bored of listening to you.
Bored of listening to me?
I think
Don't bring shit to the party if you've been slagging as something rotten.
I think
Villa.
I think everybody will be. Come on.
What?
Let's have a selection that you think I'm gonna sign off on.
Well, I know you'll like this one. Man United at home to Fulham. See no reason why not. It's a bit of a short price, but Fulham being rotten on the road.
Yeah, that'll do.
That'll do, donkey. That'll do.
I feel like we're shortchanging people without giving much more of a description, but he's a pretty fair one. I don't really think there's much more to say. Man United have turned it around, winning loads of games. What have they won now? 5 in a row, 6 out of 7. Fulham are terrible away from home.
They are rotten.
The worst team away from home, apart from the newly promoted teams, is what
you say.
I think that rings a bell. So, yeah, it feels like this is one that it's on my list. So
Fulham are only better. They've only got more points than Sheffield United on the road.
Oh,
it's 7 out of 12.
Fantastic.
1 win.
Right. Well, that gets us started, doesn't it? The first selection for this week's Acca. It took us a long time talking about one that's not going in, not promising that I'm not going to bring that one back up later on, is in the Premier League. It's Manchester United to beat Fulham at 8-15.
I'm going to take us all the way down to Sky Bet League 2. We've got Tranmere 15-8 at Forest Green. Now, since Atkins took temporary charge of Tranmere back in September, if the season started at this point, and I know it didn't, but they would be 8th with 37 points. So,
That's some good maths you done there.
No,
Do you work that out yourself, or did you use some sort of website?
the magician
internet.
never says his secrets.
You're a clever boy, aren't you?
The away form is a bit of a concern. Only 3 wins out of 13 on the road under Atkins, but they are playing a side that's only won 2 games at home all season in Forest Green. So what do you reckon at 15-8?
I like the price. I put this down as a maybe, and then I wanted to see whether it was one that you'd thought about, because the form has just dropped off a little bit in the new year. But if you look a little bit closer at it, then I'll just run through them, because it's only fair. If people look and they're like, why have they put Tranmere in when they've only won 2 of their last 8 matches?
What you bickering with yourself for?
Barrow and MK Dons,
Yes.
both really good teams in the league and lost by a goal. Crew drew 0-0, another really good team in the league.
Don't get me started on Crew.
And then even the defeats against Morecambe and Donny, again just by a goal, so they're all close defeats. And then to win 4-0 against Stockport.
Leaders Stockport. And it was a 4-0.
And Forest Green, bless them, they're really bad, aren't they?
I know.
They are really, really bad. They just want, and I do genuinely feel really bad for them, because they had this exact same thing last season. So 2 seasons in a row where you just want the season to be over as soon as possible is pretty grim.
Yeah.
So it feels like that is seriously overpriced, because they are only marginal favourites, I think. Like really marginal favourites. I think the bookies have actually struggled to price this one. I would expect it to look very differently by kickoff. So while it seems like a big price for an Acca, we take it, I think.
Oh, yeah. So is that locked in then?
I reckon so, yeah. I do all this fiddly stuff, that Tom usually does when he's on the podcast. He usually just sit here and talk bollocks, which is a bit annoying. So I've got to stick it in the coupon, like Tom usually would, and then find the other one and see what price we're on.
While you do that, I'll just vamp for a second. I mentioned Tranmere's flaky away form, but they have actually won 3 of their last 5 on the road and only lost 2 since mid-November. So they are in at what price, Joseph?
Beautiful. So that's our second selection for this week's Acca. It's Tranmere to win at Forest Green at 15-8, which means it's Manchester United to beat Fulham, Tranmere to beat Forest Green, and that takes us to a double at 3.4 to 1. One thing we've all got in common is having that one leg of an Acca let us down. From spending your winnings in your head to cursing that last-minute equaliser that broke your heart. But it doesn't have to be that way. Acca Freeze from Sky Bet gives you the power to freeze a winning score early. Even if that team goes on to lose, Sky Bet will settle it as a winner. It's time to take action. It's time to Acca freeze and end the game your way. Visit skybet.com for full terms and conditions. Right, Jimmy, you know what time it is?
No.
Acca freeze time.
Oh, yeah, Acca freeze.
Okay, so we want to pick which selection we want to get locked in at maybe a slightly bigger price, maybe not. Maybe you've just got a nice explanation for why you want to get it locked in early doors on Saturday. What's your Acca freeze pick for this week?
Yeah, I like the bigger ones. I'm going Birmingham at Ipswich. Ipswich are pure chaos at the minute. I wouldn't be surprised if Birmingham get their noses in front in this one.
Oh, nice. Are you going to give us a price on or not? You just...
No.
Okay.
I haven't got one.
Oh, you just like the game, don't you? That's fine, mate. Don't worry about it. Like, I'll go with the price for my one, which is Portsmouth to win at Charlton at even money. I like it because Pompey runaway leaders in League One. Charlton down there in the relegation battle, but they've got Nathan Jones in charge, who is mental. So it wouldn't ever surprise me that if Charlton managed to just fight back late on and do something miraculous, Nathan Jones getting the crowd involved. So if Pompey got ahead in that one at a nice price, I'd like to get it locked in. Yeah. So just the two Acca freeze picks for you this week. There you go. Halfway point. We built a double now, 3.4 to 1. Mm-hmm. Tranmere in to win at Forest Green. Man United to win at home to Fulham. I'd say two very different fixtures there. Might have 1,000 people at one and then 75,000 at the other. And I was going to go to you for your next selection.
Your turn.
But what we have a lot of people getting in touch wanting to know about more is I want to know about your chickens when I've not seen you for 2 weeks. And I've heard on the grapevine that we just have one name.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things that you can't rush naming a chicken. When it comes to you, it comes to you. One is named
Mrs.
Pulaski.
Mrs. Pulaski. I like that.
Is
there any kind of background to it?
No. You just looked at it. Their eyes are actually quite evil, combined with the beak. And just when it was on the windowsill, pecking at the window, just looked into its eyes, and it was my missus actually said, "That looks like a Mrs. Pulaski."
Is it not off telly, that Mrs. Pulaski? Is it not off something? That's what was really bugging me when you told me yesterday.
Miss Pulaski.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Mrs. Pulaski.
It's not that your girlfriend's just come up with something. She's like, "Oh, do you know what? The name Pulaski. Do you know what? The name Pulaski. It just goes for that chicken. It's just come out of my head out of nowhere."
Well, a quick Google search. I know where she's got it from. The infamous Polish tobacco farmers of the early 1940s.
Can anybody get in touch? It would be really handy if someone could tell us why one of these chickens. You don't even know why your own chicken has been named Mrs. Pulaski.
When you see it, it just makes sense. But
I really don't think it does.
Do need a name for the other one, Mrs. Pulaski. I'll bring her in, and you'll know it as soon as you see her. You'll know why she's.
You'll bring her in,
Pulaski.
Or why don't you just take a photo on your camera phone? Or get your girlfriend to take a photo and put it on our social channels, and then we can maybe put a bit of an explanation.
Nah, I'll just bring it in.
Photo. Okay, yeah, bring it in. Might not be allowed, but I'll try to get it signed off.
It's an anxiety chicken.
But anyway, from chicken to bantams, then I'm not really backing Bradford, mate. It's fine. It's only taking a bit. Bradford, like Blackpool, banned substance on this podcast. We do not go near them for the rest of the season. That's going to come back and bite me because Bradford are actually in really good form. Brings me on to actually talking about a couple of things from last week, which has made it really tricky actually building Accas. It's like I'm coming up with excuses for the fact we're on this incredible losing run. But last weekend, correct me if I'm wrong here, Jim, I think it was record amount of away wins in the EFL on one weekend.
Yes, sir.
And then in League Two, which is notoriously unpredictable as it is, then there are only 3 teams that are on unbeaten runs of 4 games or more at the moment, and all of them are bottom half teams. Really wish that I had this scrap of paper with me where I wrote that down. Salford, they're on a really nice unbeaten run, up to 8 or 9 games now.
Salford,
Bradford.
Bradford. Is there any more? That's it, 3 teams.
Which does make it incredibly difficult to pick out winners when League Two's been our main hunting ground, I'd say. season. Um,
Hunting ground.
So League Two is where I'm going to start for my next selection. And I'm really sorry, Tom, because you're not here. I've got nothing against Grimsby, mate. If you're listening or watching, I really haven't. I just really like the price of Morecambe 5-4 to beat Grimsby. Morecambe, good home team, in pretty good form. Grimsby, just general struggle all season. Not had the big uptick that you would expect in form since a managerial change. And the price, to me, it just looks enormous. I'm just checking now. It's 6 games without a win for Grimsby. They lost 5-1 to Doncaster in the last game at home.
Mm-hmm.
And Morecambe, they lost the last couple, but they were both away from home. They won the 3 before that. And at home, they're just like a fairly solid team. But it's just the price that pulls me towards it more. It just seems like a huge price against a team that have just really struggled all season or on a bad run.
What's that price again, Joseph?
5-4.
Interesting. Well, I'm just going to pull you up on a couple of things that you seem to have glossed over there. What was their last result, Morecambe's, again?
Oh, I was just looking on Saturday. The last weekend result.
Result.
Yeah, 1-1 against Wimbledon. The last weekend result.
Not weekend.
Talking about weekend results.
No. What? How did they get on in midweek?
Oh, Walsall are having a great season though, mate.
Yeah, well...
Yeah, they're having a great season.
Well, they lost 3-0 in midweek. The other thing is, brilliant...
But Morecambe had most possession in that game. 63%, so that's a positive for this weekend.
Yeah, you've made some superb points on Grimsby, and credit to you for that. You've mentioned the fact that they've only won 1 of the last 7 games, but you almost alluded to it. I thought you're going to crack why they've been losing so many times, and you almost said it. It's because 5 of those games have been at home. They're terrible at home, and it don't make any sense. On the road, they've only lost 1 of their last 6. Why are they so good away and bad at home? I don't know, but I just know it's a fact. In fact, if I may go on, not my mic. If I may go on, they've only lost 6 times away from home all season, and look at who they've lost against on the road: Mansfield, Stockport, Wrexham. 3 of the top 4, I think. Swindon and Notts County as well at the start of the season when them 2 were flying. And the only other defeat was against Donny 1-0. I don't know why they're so good away from home, but they are. And I would be desperate not to get against them this weekend.
So, don't want to labour the point too much because we spent ages debating a frankly fucking pointless opening selection with Villa not going in. This one, then the only final point I will make that is not going to make any difference is it's a really, really bizarre quirk of the fixture list. So if you look at Grimsby's fixtures in 2024, I would wager that nobody else has had a fixture list like this. It is utterly bizarre. They have had 6 matches, 5 home games. That is just completely odd. It really, really is. That teams...
Bizarre.
Yeah, getting a run like that. And yeah, they've been really poor at home, but that is just so lopsided. And in that run of 6 matches, they haven't won. 2 draws, 1 away draw, 1 home draw, lost the other 4 matches. So it is a really good point you make about the disparity in form, but that gives us a really lopsided view, the fact that the fixtures have been so odd like that. It really does. So, to be honest, if we can find better selections, then I'd prefer to avoid it for its uncertainty. If you were building a bigger Acca and looking for a bigger price, I would say they'd be worth putting in because the price looks really big, but it's just a really odd quirk that to have only played 1 game away from home in fully 2 months. That is strange. Yeah, it really is. Maybe they're just bad, and it just happens to be that they've been playing all the games at home this year. But we can't know, can we? But anyway, we'll put that one to bed.
Okay.
Over to you. I'm not angry. I'm not. I'm not fuming. I'm not fuming. I am fuming, yeah. I'm fuming, yeah. But anyway, go on.
Well, you just have your own personal Acca like you usually do.
I will, yeah.
Come in and blow your trumpet on a Monday.
Yeah, I will.
All right, back to the Championship. Norwich 7-4 at Blackburn. Now, it has been a horrible week for fixtures. This is one that I didn't notice until like the fourth time of going through all the games with a fine-tooth comb. And it's fitting that both of these sides' last game was Cardiff. I think it provides a good yardstick as to the different directions the clubs are sliding in. Blackburn played them in midweek, only mustered one shot on target. That means they're winless in 3 and they've only won once since mid-December, which is a 12-game period. Norwich, on the other hand, they played Cardiff last weekend. They battered them 4-1, extended their unbeaten run to 4 games. And it's just a really weird one because Wagner only kept his job. He led the sack race all autumn. I think he only kept his job because of a change in the sporting director role. Is that right?
Can I stop you here? Because there's no chance this is going in.
How?
John Eustace, first home game as manager. No way.
Shit.
Yeah.
Is it?
Not happening.
Oh,
sorry, mate.
Know that.
Yeah. Not happening. So, like, do you know what we're really good at today?
Shitting all over.
Yeah, shitting on each other's selections. Like, we're really good at that. But the way that I build an Acca, that tends to be the way. Look, what's shit, and then, like, eventually you might come up with something that's not shit.
Not so shit.
Really been working for us, actually, this last few months, hasn't it? So I'll throw one back at you now, but unfortunately, I think that you might shit all over this, even though I know that it is gold dust. It was alluded to right at the beginning of the pod. Portsmouth are top of the league by miles in League One. They're on a brilliant run of form. They go to Charlton, who haven't managed to improve greatly. They did get a draw at Bolton last week. This is Nathan Jones' 4th game in charge. They haven't won since November. 18 games without a win, and Portsmouth are even money. Yes, granted, Portsmouth might not win. That happens in football. They should not be even money to win this game, and they will not be even money at 3 p.m. on Saturday.
Really?
There is no way. So a team that looks like they've got every chance of being relegated against a team that is miles clear at the top of the league, you really think that Pompey are going to be evens? Yeah.
Well, I'm just seeing what the historical data says, but I did have a few caveats to this one. It's funny how much you went off against us putting in Charlton in last week, but
I've already explained this earlier on.
A week later,
Once we get to 4 games, that's it. So don't want to hear it.
Since Christmas, Pompey only won 3 games. Is that on the road? I should have probably put that in my notes. Is that only on?
It has to be only on the road because they're on an unbelievable run of form.
Yeah.
They've won the last 4 games. They've won 6 of the last 7 and drawn the other.
Let me tell you about their away games then.
This is insane.
Since Christmas, hear me out.
Oh
Since
God.
Christmas. Well, we said about
killing me here.
We said about already. We're on a massive barren spell, and it's because the teams that should be winning aren't, and it's because of this stodgy time. Winter to spring.
They are winning. They've won 6 and drawn 1 in the last 7, and they are top of League One by 6 points. And they are playing Charlton, who are 5th bottom and haven't won in 18 matches. There is no world in which this is not a good selection at even money.
Really?
It's barking mad. And I have still said, I get the point that, they might not win. That does happen. This is crying out as being overpriced. It just is. They're playing a team that hasn't won in 18 games. They've won 6 of the last 7 and drawn the other, and they're top of the league by 6 points. It's like green lumber. Google it if you've not heard of green lumber.
I am.
That you bring somebody in that knows nothing about football, nothing about betting. You give them that information. They're like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. Going into the realms of overthinking it, and you miss the obvious. No. This is obvious. Clear and obvious.
No,
Portsmouth should be in the Acca.
Have you finished? Because I remember 2 lads sat here last week telling me about how good a price Leicester was. And I said, whoa, hang on a second.
Were they even money, were they?
X, Y, and Z. But as I was trying to say...
They haven't won in 18 matches?
Joe, since Christmas, they've only won 3 away from home. Each of those was 1-0. Who was they against? 3 of the bottom 4. Marginal victories against 3 of the bottom 4 away from home since Christmas. It's a good point about the price, and I'm just looking away from home. you said it's not going to be here come kick-off. Well, that's funny because against Oxford, they were longer. Against Port Vale, they were even money. They went off at 4-6 against Carlisle, who are bottom of the league. So, is the price going to be around at kick-off? I think so. Do you not?
Nope. This is where we're going to keep reaching an impasse if there's two of us, because if we do just keep pieing...
No, I'm not saying...
We're not gonna build a 4. So, like, we're not even gonna build a 4, 5, 3. We're gonna be stuck with 2 and not even build a bloody Acca. So, are we just gonna sit here in silence until someone gives in? I am really gonna be a stick in the mud on this one. I've relented on 2 already. This is the 3rd one, and I'm banging my fist on it. So, fine, I'll give up Portsmouth. But we have to go back to 2 of the others that I've given up.
What do you mean?
If I don't have Portsmouth in, you'd have to just give me back one of the others that you've already pied off. That were strong arguments. Or is Portsmouth going in?
Look at this. No, I was just raising the point. I've been trying to raise the point about the narrow margins of victory away from home since you started. And then you kept cutting me off, and then I found about the price, and I was just raising some points. Because you're saying I'm missing the obvious, but... I don't know if it's that obvious. Like, I was just making sure you was aware the fact that the last 3 away wins have come against bottom 3 and was by a 1-goal margin.
Thanks.
You aware? You still happy with him?
I'm very happy, yeah.
Well, you can have him in then.
Oh, cheers, Jimmy. Oh, that took a while, didn't it? Sorry, I think I burst a blood vessel there as well. But I was just really, really desperate to get us to that 3rd selection because at some point I want to get out of this fucking studio. I'm not gonna lie to you. Okay, so we do the little bit of magic because Tom's not here, so we stick it in and we see how this is building up for us, and it's looking good. So 3rd selection for this week's Acca locked in. It is Portsmouth to win at Charlton in Sky Bet League 1, and that is coming out at a treble at just shy of 7.5 to 1.
So, I know you don't like going against new managers, but what if I told you we could try going with a new manager?
Well, I'm hoping I like your train of thought here. There's been a lot of new managers in the last... Are you thinking Napoli?
You got me. No, I'm thinking we go all the way back up to the Premier League. And before I say it, I've got to be brutally honest. We've been scouring the divisions for a last pick, haven't we? We've shafted each other a few times before we've eventually...
Yeah, we're still friends, though.
Yeah, only just.
Like it got a bit heated.
Just
a bit. I think it did. I had to get up and turn the temperature down at one point. Get us down to 18 degrees in here. Got up to 28 degrees at one point.
Yep. Very hot. But I don't know how you feel about Crystal Palace at home to Burnley. Even money on Odds Checker. Now, Palace, they're going to be without Eze and Elise. That's confirmed. Roy's gone. But I feel like there's going to be a massive feel-good factor with the new appointment, Oliver Glasner. He's got some CV, hasn't he?
Unreal appointment, like given the situation. Absolutely incredible. Word for Roy. Love Roy Hodgson. Think he gets a lot of unnecessary flack. It was a bit distasteful the way it all played out in the end, wasn't it? But I'm with you. I think that the big thing, and Roy Hodgson was even talking about it, that what's been really sad is that they lost the backing of the fans, and that's been like their extra factor in the last few years in the Premier League. It's one of the best grounds for support in the division, and they've not had that. And it's been a huge blow, and I reckon they'll be rocking on Saturday. Even money, I was shocked actually at the price against Burnley, who are terrible.
Yep,
really bad at football.
Really, really bad. I'm just looking. Claret's pick points up. They won away at Fulham, 2 worldies. Brighton, they did a job on them, to be fair. And then it's Luton and Forest towards the start of the season. I really can't see an away result. And the sweetener, the kicker for me with like agreeing on this selection, I think, is the fact that the reverse ended 2-0 to Palace, and that was also without Eze and Elise.
Yeah, that is a real sad indictment on Burnley, isn't it? I mean, the 2 points in the last 2 months is all Burnley have got. I mean, they've pretty much only got 2 points all season, haven't they? which is really sad. Another team that great that they're up in the Premier League, but they probably want it to be over so they can go back to just pissing all over Championship teams next season. But I'm with you, Jim, and that was the real kicker for me. The fact that you worry thinking no Elise, no Eze, but they beat them without them already. So even money, that just looks like a real nice, juicy price. And even better for us. So if we stick that in, that takes us to, before a price boost, takes us to 15.5 to 1 as a fourfold. No fifth needed, mate.
No.
That's 4. We can stick with 4.
Yeah.
And that feels like a real nice Acca that we got there. So we got 2 from the Prem. I'll run us through them. So it's Manchester United to beat Fulham, Crystal Palace to beat Burnley, and then into Sky Bet League 1, Charlton at home to Portsmouth, but back in Portsmouth to win, and then Tranmere to win at Forest Green in Sky Bet League 2. So that comes out at the moment at 15.4 to 1.
I like it.
You liking it?
I like it a lot.
Is this going to end the streak?
I fucking hope so.
We're like the opposite of The Undertaker for any wrestling fans out there. That he's had that big streak at WrestleMania winning every year. We're not on a good streak. We want it to end. Please.
Yep.
So cross your fingers for us. Say a few prayers if you're religious. Light a few candles if you're Catholic. I'll be doing the same. And fingers crossed. But more importantly, like and subscribe on YouTube so I don't get told off. Follow us on all our social channels. And most importantly, please do keep it fun. 18 plus, gamble responsibly. This is a podcast for 18s and over. Never bet more than you can afford. And as much as we joke about wanting to have a winning Acca, it is all about just keeping it fun and enjoying it. Keep the comments coming in, and we'll do our best to get you a winning Acca as soon as we can. And we'll be back Monday.
Hey.
Jimmy and Tom will be back on Monday with another This Week's Acca Route 1. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on Monday.